My name's Manpreet Kalra. I'm a digital marketing and business coach. I work with conscious and creative businesses on their marketing and branding strategy. And to me, I think that it's really important that we take a step back and go back to the basics when it comes to fashion, and truly everything that we touch or interact with has been touched by so many different hands, right? So it starts from the person who cultivated the cotton, to the person who actually made the thread, to the person who made the shirt and then branded it and designed it and made something out of it, to your hands. And to me, it's important to acknowledge every single person in that supply chain. And so my passion truly is to give voice to those people who have had some impact in the items that we consume and we get to enjoy.
Is there something that's really powerful for sustainable companies to market and brand themselves with?
So for sustainable businesses, I think the easy way to go out is, I'm going to talk about my artisans and the stories that they have. And I think that is helpful to a degree. I think truly your brand sells on the quality of your products, your design aesthetic, talking about the inspiration of why you decided to create this product, why you went with this color scheme, why you're working with natural dyes is what's actually powerful. The quality and the manufacturing of your products speak 10 times more than any one story. So when it comes to branding, I want you to step back and not think about branding as we're fair trade, therefore you should buy us, but rather we're doing good and our products are awesome, and because you like our product, you should buy our product. Because you can get a lot of people to feel guilty and buy, but they're not going to become repeat customers. And the goal is really to cultivate an audience of people who love your brand and want to keep shopping with your brand.
They're brand new designers. What can they do to really gain loyalty from their followers?
Content. Content is the number one way to build brand loyalty. So making sure that you're staying relevant, making sure you're engaging. Emails are critical. Brands don't realize the power of email marketing. Email marketing is a great way for you to not just engage your existing customers, but also stay top of mind. So when brands hesitate to send too many emails, which is a conversation I have oftentimes, I tell them don't be worried about that, because if someone truly likes you, they want to hear from you. So of course there's something as too many emails, but most likely you're sending very few emails. So I would say email marketing and then really content. Your social media may not be what's closing sales, but it is a fantastic way to create brand awareness and to really capture a wider net or wider audience. Focus on quality, not quantity. So at the end of the day, if you're saying you're a new designer and you realize like, hey, I don't have time to be posting all the time on my social media, that's fine. Just try to create really high quality content, and even if that means you're posting twice a week, that's better than posting really low quality content very frequently. When it comes to content, I think one of the big things is behind the scenes. So customers in this day of age really want to know who's making the products that they're using, what is the brand, who are the people behind the products I love, and I cannot say enough how important it is to let your customers in. Because the truth is, once your customers feel this connection with your brand, by feeling like they're on the grounds with you, going through those processes of design and iterations and so forth, they're going to feel this connection with you, your brand, and it's only going to make your customer base stronger. And so I really think that if you have the chance to, and you're comfortable, you should try as hard as possible to share some behind the scenes footage, because that only makes your brand more real and more just easier to connect with for people. Transparency is really important because your customers want to know who and what is behind their brand. But for you, it's also a great way for you to connect your story with your customers. Oftentimes, we think about storytelling as simply the words that we create when talking about the different products we sell, but the process is the true story. And as a brand, for you, it's important to showcase that process from the moment that you decide that you want to create something to the different versions you go through to make that product to the final product. And it's something that I've been told that Indie Source does really well as well. So I think that those are things that you want to be thinking about.
Is there a certain amount of hours that someone should spend maybe doing marketing ideally?
So I wouldn't say there's necessarily an amount of time you should be spending on marketing, just because that really does depend on your ability and your availability. So what I would like to tell you to do is to sit down and make a content calendar. I know that you heard this probably a bazillion times, but it's super important because having a calendar of how frequently you're posting, what channels you're posting on is critical. And when I say that, I also want to say that you don't need to be on every single social media channel. Pick one or two social media channels that are critical to your brand. Look at your competitors, look at others in the landscape, see what channels they're on, focus on those, and once you get your rhythm going, once you're creating engaging content, then you can go ahead and spread out to other channels, but really start with a few, own those, come up with a cadence, and then move forward.
What kind of self-reflection should brands do in order to gain what those values are?
So when you're thinking about creating your brand values, the number one question I ask brands is, why do you exist? What makes you different from anyone else in the landscape? The reality is there's probably a few companies that are doing exactly what you're doing. And what you really need to think about is why should people care about your product compared to anyone else in the landscape? And that is your brand value. The value that you provide to your customers is what your brand value should be. And it's that passion, it's the thing that's making you say, I'm gonna wake up in the morning and keep pushing and keep working on my brand. That's what you wanna use as your brand value.